Hey guys, El Flamingo here, your coach of the Kooparoo Crab Hammers. Today we have a team reveal for a new draft league we're in. We have joined the a Little Cup draft league through the DPeC Discord server. So it's quite an interesting one. Compared to most other leagues I've been in, we've been able to draft 11 Pokemon. This was only 10. And with the limited pool of Pokemon to pick from, it made completing some of the type cores quite challenging. So let's run through my team and we'll go through why I picked each mon. So let's start. We're going to start with the Pokemon I picked first. Should probably talk a little bit about the tiering system. They had S tier, A tier, B tier, and C tier. But we weren't required to pick from any specific tier. It was a point system. So S tier was worth 100, the A tier was worth 60, B 30, and D 10. So I actually didn't pick any S tiers in my draft. I didn't want to go too top heavy because the S tiers did take so many points. It did kind of leave teams having to pick like 5 or 6 C tiers, which isn't too bad because this is the first time they've run a draft league. So there were some really strong Pokemon in the C tier. For example, Stuffle, I think, is absolutely busted in this format between Eviolite and its ability Fluffy, I think, and the move Pain Split. I think that is like a top tier Pokemon. I think it could actually possibly move to A next season. But this season it was in C tier because no one's really used it before. So I was trying to go for it, but I got sniped by one turn. But that's all right. We'll run through my team. So I started off with an A tier pick. I felt a lot of the Pokemon people were drafting were quite reliant on their abilities. So I thought I will go a counter pick first up. And so I picked up Coughing. Coughing is super bulky on the defensive end. I think it has base 95 defense and base 40 HP, which isn't great, but in Little Cup, it's actually not too bad. The base 45 special defense lets it down a bit, but Eviolite can help buff that. Coughing has some great support moves in Taunt, Haze, Pain Split, Will-O-Wisp, as well as quite good offensive coverage on the special side from its stab poison moves, fire moves, electric moves, and dark moves. So that was our first pick. Really happy with that. It has the ability neutralizing gas, so it gets rid of the opponent's abilities. But if I'm up against a team that isn't ability heavy, it also has levitate, so it just gives me another ground immunity, which is really good. Next pick on our team was a water type, and I haven't used this, but I've used evolutions of this in quite recent tournaments. So I wanted to give it another shot again. And so I picked up Poplio, which was in the B tier. So 30 points there. Poplio has the liquid voice ability, so sound-based attacks become water types. Has access to things like Hyper Voice. Aqua Jet as well, which maybe I could proc a policy with that on something. And it also has Perish Song. So I really wanted to use Perish Trap this time because I've never used it before. So that led me into another A tier pick for me, which was Gothita. So Gothita has the what is it called? Shadow Tag ability, which traps opponents in as long as they're not ghost types. So I can trap them in, use Perish Song, do some switching, some ally switching, some protecting, some fake outs, and hopefully get 2 kills there. Or I can bring Poplio in late game and just click the Perish Song button. But it also has access to 2 other really good abilities in Frisk and Competitive. So can actually become quite the offensive powerhouse if my opponents proc that Competitive. Next one, we reach down into the C tier, and this is probably something that does belong in C tier, but I feel it pairs quite well with sort of the defensive core that I've started building up. And that's Zigzagoon. Galar specifically. I picked this because it has the dark and normal typing, so it resists or is immune to both dark and ghost moves. It does have a 4 by weakness to fighting, but I've got Cathedra and Coughing, which resists that. It has, main reason I picked it up is it has the quick feed ability. So if it's poisoned or burned or paralyzed or whatever, its speed gets times by 1.5. And this lets me use its support move pool to my advantage. Things like Icy Wind, Knockoff. So it just can be very, very annoying. After that, I thought I'm really lacking some power. I need to punch holes in things. So I went back to the C tier and I picked up the Tyrant. So Tyrant is Dragon and Rock type, and it has one of the highest base stat totals of the legal Pokemon in this draft league. I think it's like 338 or something like that, 358. So it has 89 base attack and 77 base defense. So it's quite bulky on the physical side, but can also punch holes in things. Has the strong jaw ability or the sturdy ability. So sturdy lets it live at 1 HP if it's going to get OHKO'd by an attack, and strong jaw boosts the power of biting moves by 1.5. So it has access to things like Crunch and Ice Fang and Thunder Fang, which all get boosted by the strong jaw ability. Also has some great physical coverage. Let's run through it. So it has normal, fighting, ground, dark, dragon, fire, ice, fairy, psychic, rock, steel. So it just has a huge move pool to select from on the physical side. So I'm looking forward to using this guy. I really love Tyrantrum. It's one of my top 5 favorite Pokemon of all time. Never drafted it, but I'm yet to try out Tyrant. Next, I wanted something else to resist some dark types because, Gothita doesn't take those attacks too well, but I've also got some more dark weaknesses coming up soon. So I wanted something that also could provide me with some coaching support and some fake out support. So I picked up Krogunk. Never used Krogunk before, never used Toxicroak before. So it is a poison fighting type. So we've doubled up on the poison. I'm not too concerned about that. Has access to it, again, a really good physical move pool, but also a really good special move pool. And with equal 60 in both special and physical attacks, like I can do whatever I want to there. Has access to coaching, which is super important. Can boost the attack and defense of my, for example, Tyrant. But just again has a lot of, not again, but has a lot of priority attacks. Has Bullet Punch, Vacuum Wave, Sucker Punch, so can pick Pokemon off or proc a policy on something. So I'm looking forward to using this guy. Has some really cool tech moves as well that hopefully I'll get to bust out. So next, as you can see, I've actually got a bit of a ground weakness if I don't go Levitate on the Coughing. So Tyrant's weak to it, Krogunk's weak to it, Neutralizing Gas, Coughing's weak to it. So I wanted to go something that gave me a resistance or an immunity. So I went back to B tier, and I picked up Woobat. So Woobat is a really cool Pokemon. It's my fastest Pokemon. It has 72 base speed, which isn't great in the grand scheme of things, but in Little Cup, the fastest thing is base 95. So I think it's in the top 15 or 20 in terms of fastest Pokemon. But it has some really cool abilities. It has Unaware, so it ignores stat boosts to my opponent. Has Klutz, which means items don't have an effect on it. So you can put something like a Lagging Tail on it and trick it onto the opponent, or an Assault Vest and trick that onto a Trick Room Setter or something like that. So Klutz is a really cool ability, and probably its best ability is Simple. So every stat buff or nerf, it doubles. So instead of getting +1 to special attack and +1 to special defense when I use Carmine, I get +2 to both. But at the same time, if an Intimidate Mon comes in, I get -2 to attack. I don't see this being a physical attacker. It's got 45 base attack and 55 base special attack, so not too much difference there. So I guess technically I could run a physical attacking Woobat, but has access to some really cool support moves, but also some really good offensive moves. And I think this is going to be one of those Pokemon that adds a lot of variability onto my team. Is it going to be support? Is it going to be offensive? What is this annoying guy going to do? So I really look forward to using that. So next, all the good C tiers started going because a lot of people went top heavy in their drafts, which means a lot of the good C tiers went real early on. So I wanted to get something that I thought was good, and I think this had the second or third highest base stat total out of the C tiers. And this was good because it provided me with an electric resistance, which I only have one at the moment with Tyrant, and I got 2 weak. And it is Silly Cobra. Wait, let me click my thing. The unevolved form of Sandaconda, which I've used in 2 draft leagues now, also gives me some weather control through its Sand Spit ability, but also has Shed Skin, which I think is a fantastic ability, especially if you want to max this and you're worried about Will-O-Wisp. So 2 fantastic abilities there. Has a pretty good physical move pool. Has access to some support moves and things like Glare, can boost its attacks with Coil. I think this is just a solid mon. Has quite good defense with 52 HP, 75 defense, and okay special defense with 50. But again, boost that with Eviolite, or can run something like Coil, which boosts my physical defense, and I can just max out my special defense. So I think this is going to be quite a cool Pokemon to use. Not too much to say on that. It's one of my C tiers. Next, I went my final C tier. I think this guy is a bit of glue to the team. And it's a bit of a weird one, but it actually has quite a high base stat total for Little Cup. Well, this particular format of Little Cup. And it is Snorunt. So Snorunt is a pure ice type, and it is base 50 stats across the board. So it's somewhat bulky and somewhat offensive. And you can just tailor the stats how you want it. Has Ice Shard, so I can proc some weakness policies here. Or Croagunk could do the same thing. But it has Inner Focus, which Croagunk does not have. So that means I can't be faked out. Which will be really good to be able to proc a weakness policy on something like the Tyrant. Also has things like Icy Wind and Freeze Dry if I need to hit some of those pesky Watermons. But the really good thing about this Pokemon is Moody. So Moody gives you +2 to a stat and -1 to another stat at the end of each turn. So I think I could do some real fun stuff with that. Protect, substitute, 2 attacks, and I reckon that could be fun. My final Pokemon, I still had enough points for A tier, and this is why I left it for a while, because no one else had enough points except for one person, and he already had a couple Pokemon with this typing, so I didn't have to worry. Well, I didn't think I had to worry about it getting sniped. This next one adds another electric resistance, but more importantly, it adds another ground resistance. Since my only one really is Woobat and potentially the Wheezing as well if I don't run Neutralizing Gas, which I probably will be most of the times I bring it. And it's Pumpkaboo. So Pumpkaboo is good because it adds a lot of variability in team building, because it could be the supersized Pumpkaboo, which is a lot fatter than the other sizes of Pumpkaboo, or it could be the small, which is a whole lot faster. So, do you prepare with more offensive investment to be able to do more damage to the Super Pumpkaboo, or do you run more speed to be able to outspeed the small size Pumpkaboo? So that's pretty cool. As the grass and the ghost typing to my team, which I think is pretty valuable, especially the grass typing. Has access to Frisk, which is, again, one of those abilities that is just invaluable in Draft League. Lets me identify half of the opponent's items straight up. So, pretty happy with that. So my team's a bit odd. Like, I don't have a Steel type. I don't have a Fire type. Fire types all went real quickly. and there was only one left, and that was S tier, and I just didn't really want to reach into S tier just to get a fire type. So I full went the fire type, tried to build around it. I do have the Tyrant and the Poplio that can switch into fire attacks there. And then I don't have a steel type, which I was thinking about going Magnemite, but decided to go with the Pumpkaboo instead. I just feel it's a bit better on this team. And then, what's the other one? I don't have a Fairy type. That's not too bad either. But it does mean I do struggle against Dragon types because I do not have a Dragon resistance. But yeah, that's my team, guys. This will be interesting. Like, I've got a Perish Trap mode. I've got like some good support. I've got some okay offensive options. Never done a Little Cup Draft League before. So my first match next week is against Casille Boy. Casille Boy has a channel, so I'll be linking that when I release the video. But let's run through his team quickly so you can see what I'm up against first week. He has a much more complete team than I do. This is it. So, Casille Boy has Togepi. That's the other thing. There's only 2 redirection options in this Little Cup, and that is Togepi and Fungus. So, I felt Fake Out is going to be extra important. So, I've got Gothita and the Krogunk with Fake Out. But he has Togepi, which is the best redirector. So, that was his only S tier. He's got Chinchou, which is a personal favorite of mine. He has Ferroseed, which is going to be bulky and really annoying. Goomy, which is also really bulky and annoying. He has Larvesta, which is a really threatening, physically offensive Pokemon. He has Nidoran Male. That's interesting because it has the Hustle ability. So similar to things like Durant, you max it, it doesn't get those accurate. It still has 100% accuracy, and so it can just do big damage. Has Rookidee, which is one of, I think, 5 or 6 Tailwind setters in the league. He has Mana, which is a really good Trick Room setter. We've seen it from Mashana in my UGA team. He has Golett, which I think is probably a big threat to my team, and Snom, a little personal favourite of mine. I am a huge Frostmoth fan, so props to Casille Boy for getting the Snom. So that's going to be our first week's match there. So it's probably in Casille Boy's favour a bit more than mine, just because he has got a bit more of that complete typing. He has the Fairy Steel Dragon core. He has a Fire Water Grass core. So he's got much more complete cores than me. So I'm going to have to play out of my mind to be able to beat Casille Boy. And he's good. He's also in the UGA. So yeah, that's it for me today, guys. I'm going to leave it there. And hopefully you'll be seeing me with a Little Cup match soon against Casille Boy. Have a good one, guys.